Hi everybody and welcome to your very first editing tutorial. To jump right in, we're going to be talking about which programs you're going to be using and also how to organize your projects outside of the programs. So first off, we're going to be using DaVinci Resolve. It's a free editing software. It's very, very powerful. It's actually a professional editing software that they use in Hollywood. And then we're also going to dive into Adobe Premiere Pro. If you guys want to jump right into the Premiere Pro tutorial, just go ahead and hit the time link down below in the description. Other than that, let's start with DaVinci Resolve and get going. So the first thing you want to do is install DaVinci Resolve. I'll leave a link for you down in the description below. If you need help installing it, just look for a video on how to install DaVinci Resolve. I really want to get to the editing portion of this video. So the moment that you open up DaVinci Resolve, you're going to see this. On the left, you're going to see project libraries, and then on the right, you're going to see projects. Project libraries is the area that you store your projects on your computer. Projects are your projects. Now, by default, in the local database, if we hit the little exclamation point here, it shows that it's going to the C drive in the uses area. I don't personally like that, so I'm going to make a new project library. So if you head down to the bottom here and hit Add Project Library, this box is going to show up. Now, you can name your project library anything that you want. I'm just going to call it My DaVinci Resolve Projects. And then for location, you hit Browse, and it's going to show up all of your drives you have on your computer. I have a certain hard drive that I use specifically for editing, so I'm going to put it there. Now in here, I want to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it DaVinci Resolve Projects. I'm going to go ahead and double click on that and hit select folder. And now I'm going to hit create. And you're going to see on the project libraries that my DaVinci Resolve project shows up. And the link to it is that folder that we just created. Think of this as a bookshelf. And these right here, these projects are your books. So now that I'm in my DaVinci Resolve projects, I can go ahead and create my first project. And you do that by hitting new project down here. When you hit that, it says create new project, and we're going to title this one organization because that's what we're going to be learning. Once I hit create, this pops up, and let me resize this because I'm working on a bigger monitor. Okay, you're going to see this once you create your project. This looks really intimidating, but I promise you this will make a lot more sense once we go through the tutorials. But before we dive into this, I want you to go ahead and hit File and Save Project. That is all we're going to do inside of DaVinci Resolve today. Now, what we need to do is go back to File Explorer. Now, I'm working on Windows, but if you are working on Mac, the system is fundamentally the same. Now, if we go into that folder we made, which is DaVinci Resolve Projects, which I did spell wrong, by the way. DaVinci Resolve has made us a folder called Resolve Projects. If we go into this and then hit Users and then go into Guest and then go into Projects, we're going to see the project that I made, which was at that beginning screen. Remember when we named it Organization? If I go into Organization here, you're going to see the project sits in that folder. Now, here is what we're going to do to organize our files. Back out to where it says Projects here. We're going to create a template folder. So from here, I'm going to hit New Folder and call it Project Template. Now, you don't have to put these little underscores in there. That's just something that I got into a habit of doing when I was in college, but you really don't have to do that. In Project Template, I want you to double click on it, and we're going to make a whole bunch of folders inside this one. Specifically, we're going to make a folder called Footage. We're also going to make a folder called Exports, SFX for sound effects, Music, because that's really important as well, and Graphics. These are my 5 mandatory folders that I make when I'm working on a project. From here, we back out, and you're going to see Project Template, and you're really not going to go back in there ever again, unless you need to change something up. But what we do with this is we copy, we go into our projects, we find Organization, and then we're going to paste our project template in here. Now from here, we can rename this as Organization Files. So now we have our project here, and we also have Organization Files so that I can put anything I want into these files. I can load all my footage in here, my graphics, my music, my sound effects, and all that stuff. And then when I'm ready to export my projects, I can put it into this folder. That's how projects are made with DaVinci Resolve, and I'm sure there's a lot of other ways you can manage and organize your footage and whatnot. But let's go ahead and jump into Premiere Pro and talk about how to organize everything over there. Okay, so this is the Adobe Creative Cloud. Adobe keeps all their applications under the Creative Cloud, and so if you want to use Adobe, you need to download the Creative Cloud, and then you can install Premiere Pro. Again, I'll leave a link down below on where to go install this. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you need help, look up a video on how to install it, but I think you'll get it. Now, in order to get your files organized for this one, you really don't need to start Premiere Pro. You can go ahead and just make a folder, and I'll show you what to do after that. So if I go back in my hard drive area over here, and I want to make a new folder for Premiere Pro projects, I would just make a new folder, and I'm going to call this one Premiere Pro Projects. Now, once in here, I like to make a new folder, but I like to call it a Premiere Pro template. So we'll make this one and call it Premiere Pro template. And the reason why I make it template is because I'm going to be able to use this over and over and over. So if I go in here, now I'm going to make all my folders that I did before. So we're going to make one called exports, make one called footage. We'll do another one called music. And we'll also do sound effects and graphics. And then I also like to make one called Premiere Pro Project. Now, this is kind of the standard of what I make. Again, you can make as many folders as you want as that you need to make so you can stay organized. But from here, this is where we go ahead and open up Premiere Pro. Okay, so when you open up Premiere Pro, you're going to get something that looks like this. These are all my other projects that I've been working on, but I want to start a brand new project. So we're going to hit New Project, which is right over here. And when we hit that, you're going to get your project name and the location where it's going to be, and there's a template area, but you really don't need to do it. Just keep it as none. Now my project name, yes, we are doing organization. That was the project name we made in DaVinci Resolve. But for this, I want this to be my Premiere Pro template. So I'm going to call this one Premiere Pro template. And then the location I'm going to put it in, I'm going to choose location, and we're going to go into that drive that I had before, and I made that folder, which is called Premiere Pro Projects. Premiere Pro template, Premiere Pro project. This is where that's going to live. And we're going to go ahead and save it there. Now I'm going to go create this. So you're going to get something like this when you start up Premiere Pro. This is a bunch of different settings like, hey, do you want to change this? Do you want to, call this that? You don't really need to work or worry about this. You can just hit skip. And this is what it's going to open up to. Very similar to DaVinci Resolve. We'll go over all this stuff later in another video. But now that we've had this all set up, we don't have to save it per se because we've already saved it in the folder system. But I'm going to go ahead and save it and show you what this is going to look like. So if I save it here and I go back into our Premiere Pro template and I look in here, here is our Premiere Pro template project. Now, why did I make it Premiere Pro template? Well, if I ever have another project that's completely separate from the one that I'm working on right now, I can literally go back, and then in the Premiere Pro projects, I have the Premiere Pro template. You're never, ever, ever going to want to open this one up again. Unless you got to fix a couple of things. But from here, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste. And now this is the project that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to call this one organization because that's what we're going to be teaching, which is organization. Now, if I go into organization, you're going to see that I have all these folders. They're already pre-made. And then the Premiere Pro project is going to have the template, and I can change the name of this project into organization. So we have organization now. If you go back, the projects are not linked. So if you go to your Premiere Pro template, this is going to stay as template. So you can reuse this template folder that has all these other folders in your organized, system. It's always going to be there for you and ready to go. It saves time, and that's what you want to do. So that is the basis of organization as a video editor on the file side. The next video, we're going to be getting into how to organize all your footage and your sound effects and your music and everything within DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro. If you found this video helpful, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video when we start diving into DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro. Take care.